Arthur and Don Provan had been working pre-war at the munitions factory at Lithgow. When they were released from that job, they both joined up together and went to the same unit up at Port Moresby, a small ships unit, and that's when they decided if ever they got out of the war alive, they'd start a new business. And that's what they did. It took two of them to start, and that grew and grew and grew.
So I think maybe loyalty and friendship fired up some of that passion. They really were driven by a desire to make the factory successful, and they took a lot of satisfaction in the number of families that it fed. So not just their own families, but the employees and their families. And I think to be successful and to feel that you've built something you can be proud of was important to both of them. They were both upstanding men in their communities, and I think being a success was a really strong value. So they didn't give themselves the option of failing.
All through the early days of Baker&Provan, they never took a lot of money out of the company. No flash cars, no flash houses, no flash anything. They put as much money as they could back into the company to expand it and make it bigger and better.
Dad always said, take care of the pennies and the pounds will take care of themselves.
Both Don Provan and Arthur Baker, my former partner Ted Mannering and my father Bernie were all in World War II. And go forward to 1978 when Don Provan decided he was going to retire and become a cattle farmer. Arthur then had the business as his own, and I think one of the interesting things that he said to me at the time was, I now must be a successful businessman because I owe so much money.
It was always very much a family business. Well, Mum and Dad knew everybody who was employed there, their wives, their children, what was going on in their lives. It was a strong family community, and that sort of spilled out into the broader community. Dad was a founding member of Rotary in St Mary's, and Mum was a member of Inner Wheel, and they did lots of things for the communities.
When I was about 16, I was suspended in high school. I was kind of made to come and work at Baker&Provan, sweeping the metal shavings off the floor for a week. I remember my nana said to me, unless you want to be doing that when you finish high school, you pull your socks up. Truth be told, I didn't just do sweeping, I actually kind of got involved in some of the work. And then fast forward, a few years, and my family last year became a little bit more involved when Peter passed away. And so I jumped at the opportunity to get involved however I could.
I worked here for 40 odd years. When I first started here, there was two very small buildings on the corner, which were the change rooms for the old munitions filling factory. Arthur particularly was very good. He often organised social events during the year for the whole crew. We'd go down to Sydney to Centre Point Tower for dinner or something, or somewhere else, and he would organise these things and have people all together, their families included. We even went labouring for some of the people around this area if things were quiet and they needed a hand. Arthur and Don would send us out to go and do a job here and a job there, but brickworks and printing places and toy manufacturers, and I don't think there's hardly a trade you could exclude, including other engineering businesses.
I turned 16 in October and started my apprenticeship the next January as a fitter machinist at Baker&Provan. And there was a group of young men there, all different years of their apprenticeships. I used to get some stick for being the boss's son, but it was great.
Well, Peter and I had known each other since the late 80s. We used to go and play squash together. Peter himself was a very nice guy, He didn't treat me like an employee, because we'd known each other for so long. At the end of the day, we'd go and spend some time together in the gym, and he was a pleasure to work for. The workmanship that came out was excellent. It was a very high standard. And that's what he expected. And the reputation of the company was built on that sort of thing anyway.
Peter was great. Peter, you knew where you stood. He would make a decision, that was it, done, we'd move on. We've had a few interesting conversations. Like I knew a story about the tree out the front, which his father planted the day he was born. And he was always very polite, he was always a gentleman, and he always would ask you. He would never tell you. He's missed, he's very much missed.
Peter was what you'd probably call a fairly laid-back, hands-off manager. He was the sort of guy you could go and chew the fat with for a couple of minutes every week, and he'd get on with his job and you get on with yours. And as long as things were running well, that's how it ran. So one of his strengths was he got a pretty good team in here. And since I've been here, there has always been a pretty good team working here.
So I always just remember particularly coming here with my dad. He would always sort of walk me around the factory and introduce me to everyone, and it was actually quite nice. We actually just went for a bit of a tour before, and there were people who we were speaking to who recognised me from when I was about 5 years old that are still working here.
Baker&Provan really set its mark in the projectised environment back in the mid-90s, looking at the Mine Hunter cranes and also the Anzac cranes, where we became the OEM for those particular cranes, and to date we still get through life support. It's a milestone of the company change and how we evolved, provided us confidence to actually build our naval presence as well.
We had the Subcore column class submarines coming through. That's when I first started, that was why I was hired. I still feel motivated to come here, and what brings me here is the work and the guys, and it keeps me busy. Like, I mean, if I was retired and sitting at home, I'd be bored. The management is good to work with, they listen to us, they realise that we know what we're doing. We've been doing the trade for a long time. We're here to help the company go further up and beyond.
26 years I've been here, the company has grown about 3 times bigger. They still retain some old guys, and I'm quite privileged to be one of them. 25 years ago, I was in the afternoon shift. The phone rang at 9 o'clock. My dad passed away. I rang the manager. He said to me, go home, get a ticket, and go for his funeral. Do whatever the son can do to father. 22 years later, just 2 years from now, my mom died. I rang in, the manager said to me, what can we help? That's Baker&Provan I know of.
Every day is different. Nearly every day, always change the job, so I don't feel boring. That's the main thing I like. They don't tell you how to do it. You just do the way you thought the best. Yeah. I'm already over retirement age. I still work here because I'm happy to work here. Yeah.
When we started, first thing I was building here was offshore coal winch platforms, and then I went into train bogies, and then we did underwater drilling rigs out of aluminium, and back to all sorts of defence projects and rail projects over the years. So I think it's just exciting, and that evolution of the company, that's where a lot of the young guys are really good too, because they're a lot more current with the newer technology, and so those sorts of things are good for us to look at in the future and currently, so that we can sort of look at how we do things in the future.
My boss gave me a job straight away on the machine, and he actually wanted to check me how good I am. But I did it very well, and he was so happy. I got a promotion within few weeks. A few years back, we saw 2 EMUs walking on the side of the road. All the traffic blocked behind them. Same night they were on the TV as well. For me, everyone I feel is like my family members. We go to pub, we play golf, and yeah, for me it's like a family.
Yeah, it's just good to come to work and work with mates that you've had for a few years now. If I said all the funny memories in this place, I'd probably get in a lot of trouble. I definitely have a good laugh at Jackie getting angry when people do stupid things.
I think the fact there's so many people out there that have been around for 20, 30 years, obviously there's something in this place that, and I think that comes back to the different jobs we do. It's not a production line. We don't make the same thing day in, day out. There's always something new on the floor. There's always something exciting. So from a tradesman's point of view, I'm sure it makes it worthwhile coming to work knowing that you're not going to be doing the same monotonous thing every day. There's a great bunch of people who just get in, find the answers, find the resolution and get on with it. It's the reason why I think most people turn up here every day is because of the people that they work with, and it's a great environment.
Well, I've been with Baker&Provan for many years now. I've worked for them as contract through other companies, and I've worked for them directly as we do now. The management's always been great. They allow us to run the business for them, and increase business prospects, and they're easy to talk to. It's the variety of work that we create here in WA. I get the opportunity to choose what I want to do for the team. As a team, we like working for the name of the company, and we're all proud, and you can ask any employee here in WA, they are proud to work for the name of Baker&Provan.
Importantly, we've got apprentices, and over the life of Baker&Provan we've trained over 70 apprentices. I have a personal commitment to opportunities for young people, particularly through apprenticeships, and we're actively, right at the moment, recruiting more apprentices to be, I guess, the future of the company.
It's good to come into work with having an apprentice. He's a bit younger and he's keen, and it motivates you to think, well, yeah, I'm passing on the knowledge to him that I've learnt over the last 17 years in the trade, and it does feel good to give something back. It's pretty fulfilling in that way, yeah.
Well, Peter Baker was my stepdad, so at the time, I think 2017, we had a contract for the Defence Force doing Supercat. Really liked it, so I asked Peter for an apprenticeship and got the ball rolling, and this is where I am pretty much now. In my 5 years here, I've never felt lost, out of place. I've always felt like I was on a task the whole time. All the boys here are just good motivators. If they can see that there's an apprentice struggling, we'll all go and make sure they're okay, make sure they all help out and stuff. So just seeing a smile come to someone's face after they've been like looking at a job for a while, it's just like that, a little bit of spark just makes you go, yeah, all right, this is good, let's keep doing it. Let's get as many people in here as we can and see where it can go.
You're very prepared, especially going into TAFE, because there's a lot of time put into teaching you and you actually learning a trade. You're not seen as a number here, you're seen as actually someone who benefits the company, which I haven't seen many other places, so it's really good here.
The culture of the place is really good. It was not what I expected. Everyone has been really friendly and really supportive of both of us, which is great, and everyone gets along pretty well.
We're the first girls on the floor shop, and pretty daunting coming at first, because in this industry and just trades in general, women in it is a pretty new thing. It was pretty nice coming in and not feeling ostracized. Everyone was welcoming and just treated us like one of the boys and was respectful, which was good. I think being able to work on something that is going to benefit our country. Imagine catching a train and you've built that.
Yeah,
part of that.
sick.
That's pretty awesome, because right now we're just learning, but eventually we will be a part of that. The stuff we will make will go out to the public and to our forces, so it's pretty amazing.
I've heard the stories about how the family lived literally across the road and have very much been a part of this community for a long time. And that's what we all want. We all want our families to have an opportunity to work in local business, and we want local business to be supporting our economy as well. So this is another great example of that.
I'm immensely proud of the business. I feel like it's the fabric of my family, and I feel a real sense of pride that the business has been around for 75 years. It's still family owned. You know, really taking consideration for the past and sort of what we've done well there, but also what the next 10, 20 years is going to look like, and shaping that culture as well.
I've seen myself being here for a long time, and I think there's plenty of opportunities for people to grow and move into different roles and make quite a difference in making the company very successful. And 75 years is a long time to be in business, and I'd be like to be around for a fair bit of the next 75 years.
The future for Baker&Provan, definitely we have the lineage there for being an OEM in deck equipment. Project-wise, we're looking very positive. We've captured and positioned ourselves across approximately 7 large programs for the Commonwealth, ranging in value from $4.4 billion to $56 billion of the C1000 fleet, and subsequently the way that the Australian government is now talking is about bringing back manufacturing back into Australia. So the opportunity for Baker&Provan to be an OEM on these particular platforms is extremely positive.
I'm really excited about the opportunities that I see, and those opportunities align with our traditional areas of strength. So if you look in defence, if you look in the rail sector, you've got regional rail, you've got intercity rail projects developing over the next couple of years, and then in infrastructure. And that opportunity for us at the moment is in the Snowy Hydro 2.0 and setting up a facility there. One of the avenues for expansion of our equipment is actually to get a Defence Department Sovereign Capability Grant. We've put an application in for a $2.5 million milling lathe of large capacity, and that would replace probably our highest utilisation piece of equipment in the workshop. But that would be a step change to improve our efficiency and capability as we look across the suite of our equipment. The other important part of that is in the training, and that comes back to the apprenticeships and the through career training as well, to make sure that our staff are well trained, well supported, so they can enjoy their own career development, but also to the benefit of the company with the capacity and their skill. It's an absolute honour for me to work for the family company. You hear people around the workshop talk about their sense of family, and I think there's real strength in that and making people feel part of the family. And for me to be able to say that Arthur Baker was my father-in-law, I'm so proud to be able to say that. It's an absolute pleasure for me at this stage of my career to have this opportunity, which is just unexpected and an absolute delight.
Both Don and Arthur, if they were sort of here now, look on the organisation and say, great, haven't we done a great job, and something that we can be really, really proud of.